coming up on Focal Point.
Michigan's Nordic Fire Festival returned this weekend after COVID canceled the event last year. More on the story coming up.
One Lansing photographer is giving women their confidence back one photo at a time. That story coming up on Focal Point.
This dance studio has been home to dancers in Lansing since 1974. I'll have that story for you coming up next.
What was your favorite class in high school? Chemistry? Science? How about rock band? From beakers to speakers, we have the story from East Lansing High School.
Feels kind of like being kind of like a school celebrity, whether I like it or not.
2 years ago, a DeWitt Township police officer sustained life-threatening injuries while on the job. I'll bring you his story coming up.
Focal Point starts now. Good evening, I'm Bria Crawford.
I'm Nathan Stearns. Welcome to Focal Point. 2 years ago, a DeWitt police officer was seen as a hero after going through a life-threatening injury on the job. But 2 weeks ago, he was fired.
Now, things changed again. This time, the most recent township meeting, Monday night. Focal Point's McCoy Scribner is live in DeWitt with more on the story. McCoy.
Thanks, guys. 2 years ago, DeWitt Township police officer Robert Stump was considered a hero after sustaining a life-threatening injury on the job. And 2 weeks ago, he was fired. But things have changed in the most recent township meeting Monday night.
It's been a tough 2 years for Robert and Molly Stump.
It seems to me that there should be a reciprocal relationship between township management and the officers they employ.
But her faith in the DeWitt Township meeting Monday night gave her and her husband new hope.
My purpose in addressing you tonight is simple: to encourage a decision to reinstate my husband, Robert Stump, to his position as a police officer in your township.
In the last 2 weeks,
they're not alone.
Residents found out that the township fired Officer Stump. It wasn't long ago that the same township considered him a hero.
When something like that happens to somebody, if we've hired them to do that job, then we should stand by them.
It was 2 years ago, and while working for the DeWitt Township Police Department, Officer Robert Stump's life changed in a flash.
This is just x-rays of the plates and rods and screws.
January 2020. Officer Stump knew he had to stop a dangerous driver before she hurt anybody. The result was a crash.
He sustained serious injuries. The largest was his hip socket was shattered.
Over a week ago, the township fired him. Officer Stump and his wife Molly can't believe it.
It was very shocking. It was hard to even absorb what he was saying.
We've given you enough time. You're not at the point where you should be. Sorry, we're terminating your employment. Treated him like, well, you're too much of an expense.
The Stumps felt they were doing everything right in his recovery. His hip replacement surgery is finally scheduled for May 11th.
We were thrilled. He's going to hopefully be in a lot less pain. He should be able to go back to work.
The Stumps really don't know why the township fired him.
It's tough. It's hard. And you feel like you weren't worth, much.
But something changed this week. The township met and decided to reinstate Officer Stump for now. The township manager even apologized for the way he's handled it.
If I contributed any additional pain or hurt in that, I am sorry.
Residents like Ken Pung feel like they've made change happen.
I would just ask them to reconsider and to restore him back to full.
Back live here. So again, on Monday night, the DeWitt Township Board reinstated Officer Stump, agreeing to have a meeting next week to discuss potential options, at the minimum, extending his benefits through February 2023. I'll send it back to you guys. Live at the DeWitt Township Hall, I'm McCoy Scribner, Focal Point News.
The war in Ukraine is entering its 8th day. As the world watches, so are students on MSU's campus. A Spartan Stand with Ukraine rally was held Tuesday evening at Demonstration Hall Field. There were speeches as well as Ukrainian flags as demonstrators gathered, shared stories, and rallied for peace in Ukraine. Those who spoke urged others to call their elected representatives to encourage peace. Organizers felt it was important to hold this event.
You've got this whole community who's grieving with you, and to come together is just so important to spread awareness and to feel like you can do something when you feel so helpless.
Those who are interested in helping can donate to raise'emforukraine.org.
Michigan parole boards may soon have more power thanks to lawmakers. Brian Goldsmith tells us how a new bill, just passed by the Senate, will give victims and families of a Michigan serial killer some relief.
Bleeding out. He's got stab wounds in his neck and in his chest.
It reads like a murder mystery, but it's a true story.
Dave Bankhead here.
He said this guy's a monster and should not get up.
Was the original responding officer to the Gilbert home that day. He stabbed her.
Rod Sadler wrote the book called Killing Women and talked about it at the Charlotte Library this past weekend.
Ritualistic killing by someone.
The author is talking about the serial killer who admitted killing 4 East Lansing women in the late 70s.
The connection. So he cut off her hands to get the handcuffs back.
Sadler is tired of worrying that Don Miller will get out of prison, but Angela Whitwer is doing something about it.
This was very close to my heart, and I've had other people in my family be victims of very brutal crimes.
State Representative Whitwer sponsored one of 2 bills. Currently, in the Michigan legislature, it would give the parole board power to delay a prisoner's parole hearing up to 5 years.
He has to be considered, but when you look at the totality of the circumstances of this individual, he's not one who should receive parole.
The serial killer is scheduled to be released in 2031, but this spring will be the 2nd year in a row the parole board has to consider letting him out early. Douglas Lloyd is an Eden County prosecutor.
Just watch out.
He says all that does is re-victimize the victims.
Why are we re-traumatizing these victims and these victims' families with him being considered for parole every year?
The other thing,
if the bills pass, it will give victims and their families a little more time between parole hearings.
Well, just to get it out that more people, everybody can write to the parole board, that they're not realizing that this man could be out, in our midst, within our lifetime.
And Gene said,
in the meantime, Rod Sadler will continue to speak about the serial killer who shouldn't get parole anytime soon.
I would say.
Just as a follow-up to that.
In Charlotte, Brian Goldsmith, Focal Point News.
To the best of your knowledge,
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is expected to sign the bill.
Say they are still having issues with the university's financial aid office. It's a story we've been following here on Focal Point. Multiple students have reported issues with the financial aid office since the beginning of the spring semester. These issues range from over-awarding financial aid to long wait times to speak with someone. Some students have told us the university is making them pay back thousands of dollars in previously awarded financial aid.
It's almost upsetting seeing the university won't own up to it and help the students going through it, because I've been in the financial aid office multiple times now, and it seems like every time I go in, they've told me a different thing or a different amount of money I've owed.
A senior financial aid official said in an email that he is unaware of any major existing issues regarding financial aid, but did admit that there were issues with MSU's new financial aid and student information system at the beginning of the semester.
A new program is helping Michigan State students launch their own food businesses. It's called the Venture Kitchen. It's a place for students to develop their ideas. The new space will be located on the 2nd floor of the MSU Union. The Venture Kitchen is a joint effort with MSU's Burgess Institute, College of Natural Sciences, and Land Grant Goods.
We started this Venture Kitchen to get those ideas in here where they can come in, cook, store, use the ideas, refrigerate, and hopefully grow and get their ideas, out to the market.
Students looking to start their own food businesses can get more information at entrepreneurship.msu.edu.
A building that houses one of MSU's top-ranked programs is getting an update. Nearly $11 million is going towards renovating the packaging building. This makeover will add 5,700 square feet to the building. It will transform the lecture hall and update the conference rooms, laboratories, and restrooms. The current courtyard will become a collaboration space and a graduate student lounge. Funding from a variety of these organizations are making these renovations possible.
Very happy that we're in a position now that we can finally move ahead and make this a world-class facility.
The new improvements and additions are expected to be finished in February of 2023.
Your wedding, a day of joy and beauty. But what about the day of your divorce? Find out how a local photographer is turning pain into passion.
And find out how a local band juggles being students and rock stars.
And you're looking at a live shot of a statue of Sparty. We'll have your latest forecast and much more coming up.
Many students share that they feel very overwhelmed throughout the academic year. You're just not feeling like yourself, and you're really feeling down or anxious or nervous or overwhelmed. That's actually pretty normal. I mean, and it's almost anticipated and expected. Dispel this idea that you have to be at a certain place to ask for help at CAPS, and that we're prepared and ready to respond to a wide range of issues, and really that no issue is too small or too big. We do offer 24/7, 365 crisis counseling. Simply just call our department number on our website and they'll talk to you at 3 in the morning on a Saturday. When students receive the crisis counseling services, the initial consultations, follow-up counseling, group counseling, outreach services, all of that's free. Go to our website at caps.msu.edu and there's a button that says click here to get started. And then you can self-schedule.
The Everett Dance Company is a creative outlet for the Lansing youth and has been for now 50 years. Focal Point's Deborah Marshall tells us all about how they're celebrating their anniversary.
Some students are headed to math, science, or writing. Some students are headed here to dance. Dance director Claire Martinez has made her mark for the 5th year in a row at Everett High School. She's danced since the age of 3, so she knows firsthand how important it is to include dancing not only as a hobby, but also into an academic career.
It serves as an outlet creatively, emotionally. You're able to apply the skills that you work on in dance to other core curriculum. So you have a sense of discipline, you have to understand how things function.
Things weren't always this way though. The Everett Dance program didn't start catching a beat until 1974 when it was first founded. Since then, it's grown into 5 to 6 classes a day, and the most advanced is the Everett Dance Company, where dancers have to audition to even be considered. But it does come loaded with opportunities like collaborating with the Wharton Center, Oakland University's Dance Festival, and even Cleveland's own Inlet Dance Theater.
Oh, this dance company is so elite. They even have a documentary that was just released on January 29th.
The 55-minute documentary covers the story from the very beginning to present day.
This documentary, titled Story of a Legacy, features alumni and gives us a flashback to the past and a sneak peek into what the future may look like for the program.
Because of all these amazing renovations we've had and all of the work over the last 48 years, you know, we're kind of looking to 2024 as our big 50th anniversary.
Just like the documentary's title, the Everett Dance Company has and continues to tell the story of legacy, one dance move at a time. In East Lansing, I'm Deborah Marshall reporting. Focal Point News.
You can check out the documentary on YouTube. It's titled Everett Dance, The Story of a Legacy. Dance will keep you hot because this weather sure isn't. The week started out nice, and then mid-Michigan got some snow in the middle of the week, but I hear the weekend could be saved. Nyla Hollins is in the studio for this week's weather. Nyla, how's it looking out there?
Well, Bria, it looks like we are definitely catching a break this weekend and seeing some warmer weather. Although I have a feeling many students are going to be soaking up the sun in a lot warmer states this week. But let's take a look. Across the nation, 40s out west. But look in the east. Miami is at 74 beautiful degrees right now. A lot colder in Boston with temps at 26 and 34 in New York. Now, in our region, you won't find any 70s, that's for sure. Mostly high 20s. It's a chilly 17 in Des Moines, and they had a high of 37. 27 and cloudy in East Lansing, and 20s across the board, including Grand Rapids and Mount Pleasant. But there's light and warmth at the end of the tunnel, and it's in our 7-day outlook. This weekend here in Lansing, it could reach 60 degrees, but that's all for the warm. Monday, there's a 70% chance of wintry mix. Tuesday and Wednesday is back in the 40s, but it will be sunny. Those going on spring break have something to look forward to when they return, since daylight saving time begins next Sunday. That's this week's weather report. Back to you at the desk.
Speaking of things to look forward to, it's that time of the year again. The one time when you can get these donuts called Puchkis. That's spelled P-A-Z-Z-Z-I. Focal Point's Isabella Martin found a local bakery that is knee-deep in them.
Weeks of prep.
We've been working on Fat Tuesday since probably the second week of the year.
Comes down.
It's definitely stressful.
To one day for Monica Lucas and Andrew Gauthier.
It's also fun.
For almost 7 years, they've made the donuts at their neighborhood shop called Groovy Donuts. But today, it's like a carnival in the kitchen, a little piece of Mardi Gras all mixed together in central Michigan. Most days, you can find the cherry apple fritters and the donut of the week in the case behind me. But today, for 36 hours, there's one special donut that'll be taking up the shelves. They're making punchki.
Around 3,000 orders right now.
For Fat Tuesday.
It really makes people so happy.
It's a Polish tradition.
We definitely have like people who just come for punchki. After they have our punchki, you know, sometimes we get new customers.
Like Marin Luxgren.
So I ordered punchkis from here because I'm Polish and I get them every year.
A pastry filled with lemon or chocolate or jelly or just about anything. A dessert for the day before Lent.
It's like our championship game here. That's what, you know, it's our Super Bowl is Fat Tuesday.
And they decided to step up their game this year.
This year we added like a Monday pickup so that we could get even more people in without the donuts getting old. Have a great day.
And even though these punchki pack a lot of calories, Andrew and his customers don't seem to mind.
I don't know, I like them. I eat too many of them probably. But they're only around once a year, so I get them while I can.
In Lansing, Isabella Martin, Focal Point News.
Groovy Donuts may not have Puchkis anymore, but they still have donuts. You can find them at their Lansing and East Lansing location on Lake Lansing Road or in Williamston on Grand River Avenue.
While Groovy Donuts caters to all punchki lovers, just down the road is a new bakery that caters to allergies. Sweet Encounter, a bakery that serves gluten-free, vegan, and more specialized desserts, is now open in downtown Lansing. Sweet Encounter's bakery specializes in gourmet gluten and peanut-free treats for customers with food allergies. Last summer, the bakery was awarded the grand prize from the Built to Last competition in Lansing. The prize included space for the business on the first floor of the Knapp Center.
I'm really excited about all of the different resources that were given to me as a result of winning.
Today marks the 2-week opening of the bakery. More information can be found on their website at sweetencounterbakery.com.
While some high school students spend their Friday nights at football or basketball games, this group of East Lansing students spend theirs in a basement recording music for their first album. Focal Point's Kwaku Uchini tells us about this new band that is growing in popularity.
What can you find in the typical high school boy's basement? A game system, television, maybe some posters? Wes Millhouse's basement is just a little bit different. Guitars, pianos, soundboards, and other musical instruments can be found down here. That's because this basement acts as a practice area for Wes's band, Cross-Eyed Strangers.
This has been something that I've worked on my whole life since I was a little kid.
Don't make me sad, I just wanna be mad.
They just released their new album, Mr. Conman, which has been streamed over 6,000 times on SoundCloud. This might not seem all that impressive until you realize Wes started the band in 2019 with friends he met at East Lansing High School.
It feels kind of like being kind of like a school celebrity, whether I like it or not.
Cross-eyed strangers, your lady's in danger.
Wes's passion for music started from a young age.
I was pregnant with Wes
John and I, his dad, are really big music fans, and so we went to probably like 10 to 15 concerts. Let the baby hear music in utero.
Reality isn't what I had in mind.
I think he's been inspired by, a lot of different musicians that he's listened to over the years, starting with, I think, like Jack White was a really big influence when he was young.
Everybody in the band, myself and my bandmates, we're all very serious about it. None of us think of this as like a hobby, as much of a career.
I remember one of his elementary school teachers said that he was going to be the next president, which I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think he, could make something of this music career.
For Focal Point News, I'm Kwaku Achini.
6,000 streams is not bad for a band of high schoolers. You can check them out on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud.
Brides feel beautiful when they say I do, but what about when they say I don't? Find out how one Lansing photographer is giving women their confidence back.
Wonderful moments in their life.
Ali Ciardo always wanted to find a hobby.
At one point, I set up a headshot studio outside in my backyard.
And like a flash, photography was it. On weekends, she even started her own photography business. She started getting busy and she found out that she was drawn to a specific type of subject, not just women.
They were looking to reinvent themselves and build confidence. Come forward a lot on this one. You have to bring arms.
Even more specific, women who were going through divorce.
I thought, maybe there's something here to market to these women. All right.
Ali now offers a divorce package that can include hair, makeup, styling, and most importantly, a newfound confidence.
Making it a fun experience, making it like a spa day, and just, don't have expectations, but just come in that this is the fun, this is the experience, and then hopefully, but you will, leave with some great photos that you really love of yourself.
Ali's goal is for women to feel empowered and beautiful after going through the hardships of divorce, and the comments from family and friends is always reassuring.
I just love to read the comments that they get from other people of just all the praise, and then I sit there and I'm like, I'm so happy for them that they get to have that. Drop this shoulder.
Turns out, Ali hasn't found too many photographers doing what she's doing.
People hear wedding photographer, divorce photographer, obviously they're very different.
But Ali's main goal is to give women the gift of feeling like themselves again.
Instead of coming in at the height of happiness for them, I'm coming in at a challenging time and bringing a positive experience into that time.
Captured beautifully. Reporting from Lansing, I'm Asia Lawrence, Focal Point News.
Ali can be booked for headshots, senior photos, and more through her website, aliciardo.com. Did your favorite TV show just wrap up its season finale? Or maybe you've already binge-watched your entire Hulu account. Don't worry, Focal Point's Entertainment has you covered. Maisha Johnson is standing by in the newsroom for this week's entertainment report. Maisha?
Thanks, Bria. First up, we have a special screening of a long-awaited movie. Warner Bros. Entertainment partnered with MSU to offer students a free early screening of Batman at Wells Hall. Tickets to the upcoming movie were limited and on a first-come, first-served basis. As you can see, lines were wrapped around the hall at MSU. Students waited to get inside to see Batman. Free popcorn was provided for students as well.
Just excited to see some Batman. The fact that it's coming out a little early is awesome too. A couple of my buddies have just been waiting for this for a while.
Batman opens exclusively in theaters today. So this March is going to be a busy month in the entertainment world, with lots of new movies and TV series coming out. Among those, a movie starring Sandra Bullock and a new season of one of the most popular Netflix series.
You led me straight to the lost city.
Coming to theaters on March 23rd, Paramount Pictures presents The Lost City. Loretta Sage, played by Sandra Bullock, is an exotic adventure writer, although she is no real adventurer. But things take a turn when the location of her book gets her kidnapped by a billionaire on a conquest for treasure. Now, it's up to her cover model, Alan, to save the day.
What are you doing here?
Will he prove to be a real-life hero and not just on the pages of her books? The answer is in theaters this March. And if you have a Netflix account, follow time-traveling pilot Adam Reed this March as he teams up with his younger self to save the world. And you can stay right on Netflix for season 2 of this romance TV series. Based in England's Regency era, we watch as 8 tight-knit siblings, the Bridgertons, navigate the scandal, gossip, and adversities of upper-class society. Amongst the melancholy, it is the unrevealed writer who goes by the name of Lady Whistledown that has everyone, even the characters, at the edge of their seat. So tune in this month for the royal scandal she writes.
For all of you.
This March 25th. Definitely lots of great shows and movies to watch while you're unpacking from spring break. That's it for entertainment this week. I'm Aisha Johnson.
Grab your mugs, horns, and head over to Charlotte for this trip back to the Middle Ages. And find out how the basketball team heads into their last week of the conference before the madness begins.
If you're leaving a party, getting back from class late, or just need a ride, ASMSU offers a complimentary ride-share service for students. Students can download the Transloc app from the App Store. Select MSU as your transit system. All passengers are required to wear a mask. During service hours, click the blue button to request a ride. Ride requests can only be made to on- or off-campus housing. Please do not request a ride if you are feeling unwell or have been exposed to COVID-19 in the past 10 days. University Safe Ride programs are proven to reduce assault-related dangers and drunk driving. For more information, visit asmsu.msu.edu.
Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm Lance Limbo with the latest in sport this week. We start with women's basketball, who took on Purdue this afternoon in the Big Ten tournament. Here in the first quarter, Dee Hageman drives right, draws a help defender, and dumps it off to Taylor Parks for the easy layup. In the second quarter, Matilda Eck drives baseline and passes it to Alicia Smith, who finds Taylor Parks for another easy two, making the score 38-34. Now laying the fourth, Tamar Farquhar has the ball in the post and takes the tough right-handed shot to draw the and one to keep MSU up for good. MSU won 73-69, and they advance to the next round to play Ohio State at 11:30 on Big Ten Network. Now over to the men's side. They traveled to Ann Arbor to face their in-state rivals, Michigan. The Spartans came off of 68-65 over number 4 Purdue, where Tyson Walker hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer. We start with point guard Frankie Collins, who dishes it to Hunter Dickinson, and he slams it in. Dickinson finished with the career high with the night with 33 points. Second half now, Gabe Brown dribbles down the right side, going past 3 defenders and finishes with the reverse layup. Spartans are down 15 now. Max Christie gets the rebound and gives it to Gabe Brown, who pulls up from 20 feet to cut the lead down to 13. It would not be enough as the Spartans suffered an 87-70 loss to the Wolverines. The Spartans are down 33-43 at halftime against the number 23 Ohio State Buckeyes right now. Coverage will be on ESPN. Over to the ice. The hockey team prepares for the Big Ten tournament. But first, let's look at their last game against Penn State. Michigan State was wrapping up their regular season. First period, Josh Nodler finds the back of the net off of a rebound and scores his 7th goal of the season and gives MSU a 1-0 lead. Later on in the first, Penn State's Kevin Wall gets a good pass and ties his game at 1-1. End of the first here, Adam Goodsir dumps the puck into himself and puts it on the net and finds way back at the net, his 2nd of the year. 2-1 Spartans. That goal will be the game winner, and the Spartans snap their 13-game losing streak. This means MSU will take on Michigan in the Big Ten tournament this week.
Time of success against them, but I don't think we've been good enough over 60. And again, that won't get us there. But no, like I said, I've been in situations and won Stanley Cup with the team that wasn't favored in any series they were in.
Puck drop for Game 1 of the tournament opener against Michigan is scheduled for 7 p.m. and you can watch that live on Fox Sports 2. Next up, the softball team won 3 of their 5 games last weekend in the FAU Strikeout Cancer Tournament. They will be playing 10 games, facing 5 different teams this spring break in Elon, North Carolina. First pitch for Friday's game against Elon is at 1:30. The baseball team travels to Minneapolis to play in the Cambria Baseball Tournament held at the U.S. Bank Stadium. They look to bounce back after they were swept by Abilene Christian in a 3-game series last week. First pitch is Friday against Kansas at noon. Over to the mat. The Michigan State wrestling side will compete in the 108th Big Ten Championship this weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Spartans are ranked 15th in the country going into the championship. Redshirt senior Cameron Caffey is the highest-seeded Spartan for the tournament. He's coming in at number 3 for the 197-pound weight class. The 133-pound senior Rayvon Foley enters this week at number 7 in the national rankings. Coverage for Session 1 on Saturday begins at 11 a.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. That's it for sports this week. Bria, back to you.
For today's Thursday's Focal Point finale, Elena Rabin takes us back to the Middle Ages for the return of the Michigan Nordic Fire Festival.
In Charlotte, Michigan, the last weekend of February is a special way to welcome spring. But not with flowers and groundhogs, but with activities for Viking enthusiasts of all ages.
If you're into this kind of a scene, this is the best place you can be on the last weekend of February.
An organizer of the annual Michigan Nordic Fire Festival, Brian Merkel says the weekend-long event takes 7 months to plan.
On Friday and Saturday, when we extend into the evening, we have a lot of fire performing acts. You know, people that breathe fire or spin fire.
On Sunday, people came out to see vendors and enjoy the day outside.
So it was a lot smaller 2 years ago, but this year it's a lot bigger. Yesterday there was a lot of people here too. So
Paul Osborne works to keep everyone warm.
Our job is to keep the fire going all weekend.
Of course, the most notable signs of the fire festival are costumes, wool, and fur. The cold weather and mud didn't stop nearly 10,000 people from coming out yesterday. So you might ask, what makes this event so special?
We are not religious, we are not political, we are just about getting together and having fun and being family friendly. So anybody can join us.
Festival goers could purchase handmade items ranging from unique pendants to custom fur. If you can weather the mud and avoid getting thrown in jail.
Pay $1 and you can throw someone in jail for a random reason. I got thrown in jail because I insulted brown hair when arresting her.
Chances are you're guaranteed to see something new and have a good time. In Charlotte, I'm Elena Rabin, Focal Point News.
After taking a year off, the festival hosted more than 10,000 guests and 60 vendors. It's no doubt that we will see a 7th year of this festival next year. I bet that fur kept them all warm at that festival this weekend. Isn't that right, Nathan?
It absolutely is, Bria. I feel bad for McCoy, who's still out there freezing right now. But that's it for this week's edition of Focal Point. I'm Nathan Sturtz.
And I'm Bria Crawford. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.